You're listening to Crashes, Claims, and Clarity, hosted by Darrell Burrow, a Georgia-based personal injury attorney with over 30 years of experience and founder of Burrow and Associates. With a background in both legal strategy and compassionate client care, Darrell has helped over 10,000 individuals and families navigate life after injury. Guided by his Christian faith and a deep sense of justice, he brings expert insight, personal stories, and powerful interviews to every episode. If you're looking for truth, support, and clarity in the aftermath of an accident, this is your place. This is Crashes, Claims, and Clarity.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crashes, Claims, and Clarity. I am your host, Darrell Burrow. I am the owner and founder of the law firm of Burrow and Associates. We are headquartered right here in Gwinnett County in Georgia, serving all of Georgia. Today, we're going to talk about something that most people don't think about until after the fact, and that's injury prevention. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Tommy Pittman. He's an industrial athletic trainer with More Wellness Systems. He works with individuals on a day-to-day basis who are in any type of work setting, be it warehouse, could be office setting, and his job is to make people more aware of what they can do with their bodies, how to train their bodies to prevent injuries from happening. And of course, hand in hand with that is injury recovery as well. Well, Tommy, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, glad to be here, Darrell.
Great,
Excited
great.
to talk about it.
Well, let's jump right in. As I said, most people don't think about this, except in terms of after they get hurt, they tell themselves, well, I don't want to do that again. But what can people actually do before anything happens that make their body more resilient?
Oh, make it more resilient. Gosh, there's a number of things, I guess, based on many different parts of knowing how much range of motion you have in your body. If you have too little of it, that can lead to more strains and sprains, versus if you have too mobile of a joint, that could lead to something like dislocations and issues related to that. Not having enough strength or muscle depth can lead to issues with fractures occurring easier because of the bone mineral density in our bodies. Higher stresses based on Wolff's Law would also help kind of build up those muscles and bones to keep fractures from occurring as easily. So stuff along those lines, man. I feel like there's so many ways you could dive into this.
Well, let me ask you this. What, from your experience, what do you think is kind of the weakest or most vulnerable to injury area of the body that you see?
Well, in regular sports settings, you'll see the most common injury is going to be an ankle sprain for the most part, just because it's so easily based on the way the ankle is, essentially the anatomy of the ankle, how there's the ligaments on the outside of the ankle, the lateral side are more weaker, and just the way that movement carries, it's just easy to roll an ankle. In a workplace setting, like where I'm at, the ones I notice the most are going to be typically your hands, from people having to work with hands all day in awkward wrist positions, can start to increase issues related to like carpal tunnel syndrome. Lower back from the methods of maybe not lifting properly, or say people try too much, or they try to push through pain and then it actually makes it worse. And then even shoulder injuries from, again, awkward positioning and a lot of overhead reaching as well, leading to issues with those.
Maybe kind of back to a basics. How important are things like strength, balance, flexibility, mobility when it comes into protecting the body?
Definitely mobility in essentially helping to compensate. I don't want to say, well, compensate, yeah. So you have greater range of motion, easier ability to move, you're not going to be able to be limited and get into those areas where accidents could occur. Uh, Stability definitely for preventing things like slips, trips, and falls from occurring. Uh, yeah, and also just kind of protecting the body. Biggest one I think people learn about is core strengthening, which can also help take pressure off of places like the lower back and trying to prevent different injuries such as disc herniations from occurring and stuff along those lines. So,
Okay. What if someone tells you, well, I just don't have time. I can't find time in my day for some type of, regular routine that's going to incorporate strength training and aerobic. Um, but they say, well, I could carve out 10 or 15 minutes. What would be your advice to them to focus on?
oh, perfect time to do that. I even do it for myself. One of the first things in the morning is some type of core strengthening in some way. Uh, an easy exercise for that, even laying in the bed, is called a pelvic tilt. And it's essentially like you're just almost sucking your gut in and trying to get your back flat. And it helps kind of build up the back part of your core muscles.
Okay.
So uh, that's an easy one to do. And just even, I mean, I've also done like a 5 minute stretching tutorial, just even looking up a YouTube video for that. It even gives you an idea of stretches. There's plenty of information with those. Uh, yeah, really, those are the two biggest ones I would say to focus on. Then, of course, realizing later on, it's like, oh, I can actually plan this out to go do other things. Like maybe I'll get a gym membership. Maybe I'll start doing cardio as well. Uh, it's one of the biggest preventative measures for things like related to heart health. It's being able to have better cardio. So,
Okay. Um, you've mentioned core strength a couple of times. Is that also the area that you think people neglect the most? Yes, it's the most important, but what area of the body do people neglect the most?
uh, I would say core is probably one of the top ones.
Okay.
And that's some people, when they hear core, they'll even think, oh, yeah, that's just like my abs in the front. No, that's the entire thing that surrounds from the back to the front and even can incorporate the hips in that as well. So uh,
Okay.
I'd say that's probably the most important thing that people neglect, especially in different settings where you're not able to move around as much as well. So it's kind of hard to get essentially that core strength built up over time. And then next thing you know, could be doing yard work one day and just lean over and boom, back is going out or something. So,
Wow. Okay. Okay. Um, for people who are already maybe facing some stiffness, aches and pains, obviously that's going to come with age. Um, how much does that increase uh, the risk of an injury from something simple like you're talking about, or an automobile accident or a slip and fall injury? How much does that increase the risk?
uh, I mean, age increase in age does increase that risk. Leave at a certain age, muscle degradation essentially starts to occur. So that's why it's always good to kind of start getting that preventative mindset early and engaging in different physical activity, try to help offset that like muscle degradation that could occur over time, or muscle loss, I guess is the best way to put it.
And about what age range would that occur or start to occur?
I'd have to look it up again, but I think it's usually around the time of late 30s, early 40s into like the 50s range is when
Okay.
it'll start to happen.
Okay.
And I mean, it's going to happen to everyone. I've never seen a very bodybuilder man or woman in their 90s. At least I've never seen that. So
Okay.
eventually it's going to happen to all of us.
Right.
So.
Right. Um, what about posture and what role does that play? How important is that?
I'd say it's quite important as I'm kind of been leaning forward a little bit and I'm already starting to feel it in my lower back. But I'd say posture does play an important part, especially in office work settings. If you're having to stare down at the screen too much, start to notice posture issues with the neck, uh, and the upper back. If you sit the chair too low, your wrist might be like this the whole time, which is going to increase that wrist flexion and end up possibly leading to carpal tunnel syndrome in the future if you have to work like that for long periods of time. Uh, Gosh, overhead movements a lot of the time. So if you have, I've noticed with maintenance workers before who have to work overhead to reach something, and I've even noticed in myself, if I'm reaching up to doing something, arm gets a little bit tired. And then even with overhead movements, there's a muscle right here called your supraspinatus, one of your rotator cuff muscles that can get impinged because it gets almost too large, I guess you could say, or inflamed too much. Kind of becomes tendonitis in a way, which leads to a syndrome called shoulder impingement. So,
Have you seen any increase in neck problems from people, staring down at mobile devices too much?
yes, I believe the term is called text neck or something like that
Oh, okay, okay.
that I've seen thrown around. I
Are
haven't
you
noticed it as
are you
much in my.
actively talking with people about that and what to do to try to prevent that?
Yes. Try to create like at least here at my side, I've noticed some people have to work down or look down to work at the line we have. So trying to find more creative ways of, hey, let's build your neck muscles up some more, doing some different types of exercises, whether that's chin tucks to help reset that neck, different types of range of motion movements. Essentially, it's stuff that's just not going to have them looking down like this the
Right.
whole time.
Right. How
And keep.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think some of our monitors that we use out here have people not looking up like this the whole time, but do having to look up a little bit so they're able to get that neck extension in more. So,
Good, good. Um, do you how aware do you think people are of their own bodies, when they're doing fine before something actually happens?
general public, I think it's gotten better at people wanting to know this stuff from years
Okay.
past. But I think it's also people just don't know or they don't have the time to know a lot of times. Uh, yeah, a lot of us are very busy, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of hard to keep track of that. And then things like different trends come out and they can be beneficial and get people motivated to do it. I like that part of it, but can that actually be carried on for long periods of time as well? So, gosh, I think I've. Wait, what was the question again?
It was how do you think people are really aware of what's going on with their bodies until they actually have an injury?
Uh, yeah, not as.
Not as much as they should be, probably.
Yeah, pretty much is what I'm trying to
How do
say.
hand in hand with that, how do you get younger people to, if you can, how do you get younger people to understand the importance of stretching? I was certainly guilty of that. I just didn't feel like I needed to do it and didn't incorporate it.
Uh, I'd say the biggest thing is trying to educate, find a creative way to get that point across to people. Uh, if you're a like in a physical education setting, like a school, forming those uh, like teacher to student, like professional relationships where it's kind of about students' lives and all of that, and that way you can kind of get points across to them a little bit easier
Hmm.
and connect with them better. That's probably one thing that comes to my mind. That comes from my time working with youth in a ministry organization,
Yeah.
trying to get those connections built.
What do you think? What are some signs? What do you think are some signs that people should pay attention to that they're, you know, that they're too stressed or maybe overworked or overstressed, and this is obviously before something happens to them.
Hmm. You're talking about from a like mental standpoint, stress
Yeah,
wise, or like physical?
or body. I mean, if something's telling them in their body that they're not sleeping well, that might be one indicator that I would think of. Maybe mental distraction. What are some
Hmm.
of those things?
Oh gosh. One, at least from a work standpoint, if you're worried and thinking about work late into the night, I'd say that means you're pretty stressed about it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Stuff going on. Physically, gosh, I mean, anxiety usually jumps heart rate up. So if you're anxious about something, even having like a wearable object like a watch and it shows what your heart rate is in that
Yep,
moment.
yep.
Blood pressure is a good one as to show if someone's stressed. Uh, and then, of course, that chronic stress over time can lead to health problems down the road as well. So,
Okay. And you may have already answered this, but right now, if there's anyone that's watching or listening that this has struck a chord with, what would you want them to do and start immediately?
well, I guess it struck a chord with anyone. Uh, find someone you can talk with about it. Anything,
Okay.
whether if it's health related, my first go-to is talk with your primary care provider about stuff. If it's mental health, finding a mental health professional. Uh, if it's, I mean, yeah, if it's you're wanting to get physically fit and you don't know where to start, uh, people can look for things. Also, many gyms and places provide personal trainers. They can help
Okay.
people get started as well. So,
Okay.
they know where they stand.
Yeah, well, this has been a good conversation. I really think the doing the core exercises seems to be core strengthening exercises seems to be one of the most important, and certainly if we've never done that before, even before that, is talking to the right people, getting in touch with the right professionals to get on the right track and to learn how to do this stuff the right way. So it's been really, really good stuff. Um, Tell us where can people find you? Phone numbers, social media, that kind of thing.
Uh, well, I'm always on LinkedIn. You can find me. It's a brutal headshot picture of me, but
Okay.
that's one way people can reach me. I was about to say I smile in. I'm like, that's not how I look, but okay. Uh, my work email is tommy.pittman at morews.com. So that's tommy.pittman at morewellnesssystems.com. And then I don't necessarily want to give out my personal number, but I don't
Not if you
mind
don't want,
either, I guess.
yeah, if you don't want people calling it, don't do that. But
3 a.m. wake
well,
up call.
and, well, want to thank everyone for joining us. And of course, if you have any questions about an automobile accident or an injury that occurs in any way, also feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at legalatlanta.com or call us at 1-866 Atlanta. Of course, like us, share us, do all those things, and we greatly appreciate you listening in and watching. And again, Tommy, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate all the helpful information.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Darrell.
Take care.
You as well.
You've been listening to Crashes, Claims, and Clarity with attorney Darrell Burrow, founder of Burrow & Associates and a trusted advocate for over 30 years. If today's episode helped bring clarity or hope after an accident, be sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. To connect with Darrell or learn more, visit legalatlanta.com. Join us next week for another honest, faith-centered conversation about recovery, rights, and moving forward after injury.